me feeling like I'm academics.
Yo, it was very important that, like for me, I thought Cam was wrong. Like I really thoroughly enjoy Camron's, rants. I think Camron's a really smart guy, this and third. I think he's entertaining, but I don't got to be a dick rider and just say he's right all the time. He essentially went off. Sorry. He went off on. Hold on. He went off on Ocho Cinco. Let me play the apology. Goddamn, I can't speak right now.
After I looked at it, I was like, yo, I did kind of go hard on Chad. And my brothers tell me, my brothers be on bullshit with me too. They be on bullshit. They're like, Cam, it kind of was kind of crazy. I said, I do crazy though. That's what I do crazy. He said, yeah. And then they told me what he said. And I was like, was he being slick? And he's like, nah, it's kind of like he was kind of defending himself. So I want to say this. And then I seen clips of it. I didn't watch the whole interview. And
no, Cam, no. You're my mans, but we're gonna have to have some accountability here. You should watch the whole thing. You clearly had seen when he said other things that you took personally, probably more personally than you should. Here's a recap for you guys who don't know. Essentially, Camron felt Ocho Cinco was being slick when he first got started with the It Is What It Is podcast, when Ocho said, I want to take his spot. But he was basically saying, I'm coming for that spot of that kind of a guy who's commenting on sports, but talks also regular shit as well. Cam felt it was an attack on him, but really it wasn't. Then they went into conversations later on when the show got successful about maybe Ocho joining Cam in It Is What It Is. And they had a personal conversation with which Cam was like, yo, all right, let's figure this out now. And Ocho was just like, yo, all right, I'm going to connect you with my agent. And Cam felt offended, like he was kind of like just pushing him off to the side. Well, that's how all business are conducted at that level. So that's kind of what was going on. Not too sure what spurred exactly why he went off, but he called him a bitch-ass nigga, this and third. And Ocho Cinco basically said, listen, yo, I'm not going to name call you, but if you think I'm a bitch, like I'm not no hoe, like I'm everywhere. And also, this is exactly what happened. He pretty much took the high road to it, and I'm glad that Cam got out of ego mode and realized, oh, okay, yeah, I did kind of go hard, and he toned it down. So that's what he's doing here.
And I seen Uncle Shannon say that it seemed personal. None of this is personal. So that's the first and foremost. I have no beef with of course, Shannon Sharp or Chad Ocho Cinco. I just wanted to say, if I went a little bit hard, I apologize. But the thing is this, you threw me off when you said you were talking about your piece with Stephen A. Smith. I'm uncomfortable still bringing it up. And if you say you was trolling, talking about your piece with another nigga, that triggered me to all the other shit that led off.
This is some Harlem nigga shit. You hear what Cam just said? I'm triggered because you were talking about your penis with another man. And since Harlem is the home of pause or no homo, anything where two men are talking about something that could be that isn't paused, is that true? I don't know. Is that what he's saying? That's what I got from him. He said you triggered me that you were talking about your piece. Your piece means your dick with another man. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck does this got to do with you, Cam? He's talking about, even if he's gay, he's talking about his dick with another man. That's not you. It's not like he brought his dick talk to you. Unless maybe he did. Did he?
After that, I think maybe the young niggas, whatever, and I'm not judging, like I said, I ain't got no problem. But you and Stephen A. talking about your 3-inch piece, turning it to 11 was kind of wild, and it may have triggered me. So if I went hard, I'm a little bit sorry. Not crazy, but a little bit. And the next thing is, I also seen what you said about the agent shit, and everybody got to talk to your agent. Let me explain something about that, right? I come from a situation, and I dig it. So after talking to a few people about that sport, and people higher up in sports that I deal with, that's how you guys came into the game. And I understand that completely, to where I negotiate my own shit. So when somebody has to talk to your agent, that's how it was since you was coming out of college. That's how it is 20 years later, 30 years later, or whatever. You guys have agents. You guys don't usually speak for yourself. And that's how y'all do business. To me, personally, and there's no right or wrong, I'm just expressing how
there is right or wrong.
I feel about that. If I'm the person doing business with you and I'm talking to you, why do I got to talk to another nigga about what you want? Unless you can't negotiate for yourself.
Cam, what the fuck? Cam, I guarantee, as wise as you think you are, you don't know the podcast game. I guarantee you can't negotiate for yourself. I guarantee you can't. Because here's the thing, while Cam might, he probably knows music enough to maybe negotiate, which even then, you're going to have these other entities that are going to help you even in the musical negotiation with the label. But Cam has worked in that industry for a long time. Like, there is 55 issues to resolve in a negotiation in a podcast game. Cam, if you don't know what some of these things mean, like this industry is reasonably new. Why would we want to be like, well, I'm talking to you, so no. Just to put in perspective, and I love Cam. Remember, I'm going to keep saying I love Cam because it would be a day my heart would hurt if I see Cam online saying he's bitch-ass nigga academics, because I love Cam too much. He's one of the GOATs. But we do have to speak truth to power here. There is so many things that get negotiated when you're doing a deal in content that Cam just would not know. And when he say, oh, if you know what you want, why you need somebody else? Let's put this in perspective. That's exactly how record labels told rappers and their representatives when they signed them in deals that later didn't account for the growing industry and the moving away from records being sold in stores because the piracy era was on the horizon and now streaming came in. You realize why a lot of them older artists are saying, yo, my shit used to be popping when we were selling CDs and cassettes, but now it's switched to streaming and I don't get paid from my streaming. You know why? Because you didn't have anyone who was an expert at that industry, also projecting revenue growth and also protecting your IP and your property and basically carving out every single thing that when the industry later went to streaming, you're not getting paid pennies on the dollar and you're getting paid your fair share. This level of ignorance, when we're talking about you should know what you want, you can't know what you want when you're not an expert at the industry. There is nobody, including Joe Budden himself, who, at least within the black community, we call the Podfather. You don't know the full ins and outs of podcasting and the business of podcasting. Why? It's constantly changing. It depends on 15 different things. The networks you're on, how ads are being ran, how this will even change later on. Will it be syndication? What does syndication even looks like if you're signed? There's a lot of things to be discussed. What about if a TV station then picks it up, but they only pick up old episodes? Or there's a lot of things that you need really professional help to really protect you. And the people who love saying they don't, if you're just booking shows, I get it, you don't have a manager. But if you're doing high-level deals and you don't have a manager, you're usually the person who's penny pinching and end up losing out anyway. Oh, I don't want to give a nigga 20%. But then you end up getting 40% under what you could have made, right? The person who's like, nah, we just talking. You rob yourself of money anyway. Like these people that work in, as I said, when I went through this whole podcasting situation and I wanted to be with Spotify. Spotify was the attractive, she was a bad bitch in the fucking bar, right? To me, Joe just went there. I'm leaving everyday struggle. I want to go somewhere that looked nice and shiny because, I wanted that also, I can still A1 tier 1. Feel me? They offered me, I don't know if I've told you mine. I'll keep that out for now. And the first deal, because it was millions, I said, let's fucking go. Complex ain't never thought about paying me that. What Spotify's first offer was 3 to 4 times what Complex even paid me. Actually, more. Because they came with, yo, what's up? I was just like, all right, let me get the ownership. Let me get this. But the money's good. They're like, nah. You're the hottest thing in this shit right now, my nigga. Hold on. Obviously, it's a Jewish guy doing it for me, so he ain't say my nigga. But yeah. The negotiation took 3 months. I remember being so frustrated. I was contemplating firing my agent and my lawyer, my entertainment lawyer. I'm like, yo, by the time we signed the deal, I signed a deal that was 3 times better than what was proposed. It had all type of, carve outs. It basically allowed me to do anything I wanted to do in the other platforms I was doing it on, whether it was Twitch, whether it was my YouTube stuff. It allowed me to use the content and how I want to use. And then when the contract ended, because this was not the initial offer, I own all the content. It was going to be Spotify's content, the ones I recorded there. I own all of it. That 6ix9ine interview, that's mine. So literally, I got like over $10 million from these niggas, and I'm cooling, and I just stayed there for like 2 years, and I got all the shit back. Like, that was a great deal. That deal is facilitated by some experts. The person who negotiated my deal, again, and I'm only giving, they always say the game is to be sold, not told, but we have to put some education in the air because Cam is talking like too much like a street nigga when we're talking about millions of dollars. The reality of it is the person who negotiated, like, this is my agent. My agent is the same agent that did they did the Call Her Daddy $60 million deal. You'll figure out who the person is, like, if you go read the articles. They did this deal. They did pretty much every big deal other than the Rogan deal. Every big podcast deal that person did, because UTA, the agency I'm on, is the CAA didn't really head up a podcast department. UTA had a huge podcast department that they were literally sitting with Spotify executives and be like, okay, so y'all trying to get this? All right, cool. How much money I got to spend? I bet. We gonna get you a hip hop guy. We gonna get you the white girl. We gonna get you whatever you want. And that's the reality. They carved out a really good deal for me. A deal that, my lawyer was also make sure I was in my benefit, and I made sure I was in my benefit. This idea that you're gonna get Ocho Cinco, who, again, with all due respect, I'm not trying to down his intelligence and nothing like that, but he's new to the podcast game. Just because he's been getting money for a long time, that he's just gonna be able to negotiate. Like, first of all, what would that mean, right? Like, think about the things, and this is how people rob people. I ain't gonna lie to you. If Ocho Cinco comes say it is what it is, I could seriously see him saying, well, who owns this? If the only way I'll be a part of this, I want to be a part of it long term. So now we could talk about maybe being there for 3 years or more. Also, at some point, I want to feel like I have a stake in this rather than getting paid subsequently more each and every. There's a lot of things to be discussed. The whole point is this. Cam is bugging if he ever thinks, this is not, I'll give you an example. I try to sign a rapper, right? So I got a label deal, right? I have a label. I haven't used the budget in a while. I had about close to maybe $500,000. No, it was $500,000. It was like $400,000 that was available to me that I could sign people with, right? So essentially, I could walk on the street, and if I see a guy rapping on the corner, I could be like, I want to give you $100,000, right? I could give that person. Nobody says shit to me. We could make whatever deal. All you got to do is do 15 backflips like Speed on stage. You get your money. No one would say nothing to me. The only time that the label would ever say something to me is if, say we're going to sign someone, which, by the way, that came up later because I was trying to sign somebody who was kind of hot, and their lawyer basically told us that they're getting signed for $1 million, right? And that wasn't in my budget, so I had to collab with the label, but they had to believe. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. For a small deal, which what you don't know about hip hop is the majority of deals that's given out is less than $50,000. People are not getting signed at their peak; they're getting signed pretty early, or they're in these other deals already. I could negotiate a hip hop deal with an artist getting $50,000, $75,000, because even if it's whatever, we're rolling the die. You get what I mean? It's like, okay, we have $75,000 in commitment. Okay, if they don't pop off. Even if, like, they don't do the whatever and we feel like they robbed us of some money, because that happens, or they left with money or whatever, or they don't pan out, it's $40,000. That's why I said that story. The point of what I'm saying is that when you get to this podcast market, like Stephen A. Smith, who was asking for $25 million from ESPN, you think Stephen A. Smith could go in there and figure that out? First of all, the person who's going in there to figure it out, you need to have all the insights that they're not going to provide to you. That's where you get your agent to figure it out. Your agent's going to come in and be like, hey, listen, we negotiated for Skip Bayless before. We negotiated for this person. We know all the data. Based on what Stephen A's doing, of course he deserves $25 million a year. Like, this hood way of dealing with shit where it's like, nah, holla at my mans or just talk to me, what you want. That doesn't work. You get what I'm saying? That doesn't work. Because also a lot of times us people, when we're doing content, like for example, I'm doing this is technically content, right? You devalue yourself. You're like, wait, so you tell me talking on the mic this and third for this amount of time is worth millions? Like that sounds far-fetched to the majority of people. But there's an industry that actually values it as that. So again, a lot of times people don't properly price themselves. So again, I don't want to go on this long tirade, but Cam is 100,000% wrong. And by the way, here's what I'll say to any up-and-coming creator. If you get to the point where, or you're a former athlete, you should have an agent. Now, if you're a small-time creator, you don't need an agent, right? If you're not doing too much, you don't need an agent. But once you become big-time, you need an agent. Have to. Trust. And yes, an agent probably going to take sometime between 10 to 15%. But that 10 to 15%, you're going to get back. Because the deal is going to be inflated because of what they're going to negotiate. And also, it sets a market value for yourself for your next situation. Trust.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just coming from that. A lot of people sit there and wait for their agent to do this or their manager to do this and not know what they're getting, et cetera, et cetera. Really what they're getting what their agent telling them they getting. And then you paying a nigga where you could have kept that money for yourself. So I'm not disrespecting anybody with an agent or manager that negotiates deals, but I'm just saying if I talk to niggas directly and you know what you want, if we could do it, we could do it. If we can't, we can't. We sit there and watch the Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight happen 3-4 years after it was supposed to happen because of managers, because of agents, because of boxing promoters, etc. For that fight to happen, you know how that fight happened? Manny Pacquiao was at a basketball.
Oh, what the fuck? I click on something?
At it. Walked over to Manny Pacquiao. They had a 15-minute conversation, and the fight happened 2-3 months after that. Wasn't a bunch of people in the way. Now, do you need people signing contracts, get the contracts together, et cetera? So I can't fault you for having an agent not talking for yourself if that's...
Now, again, this is what Cam is still being a little bit facetious. Very different, right? I made the final decisions. That's always going to happen. But you need people operating on your interests, right? Like, for example, like I could have told my agent and my lawyer, I'm like, no, I want to go to this situation, even if they're like, this is not a good, like newsflash. I don't think I ever said this before. My entertainment lawyer really wanted me to go to Apple. Apple offered us $1 million more. Nigga, I didn't take the $1 million more. I went to Spotify. So, nigga, again, I'm the boss. So I said, no, I'm not doing that. If I went to Apple, we were going to start months later. The deal was a little bit different. I remember they had to like wire me a certain amount upon signing. It sounded good because Apple had a lot of money. And it wasn't just Apple directly. It was Apple with this other, I'm going to get too much of the weeds of it. But yeah, I turned down $1 million, but it was for way more control. Apple wasn't really playing the game of like what I was trying to do with Spotify. Yo, I want to own the shit, blah, blah, blah. Apple was just like, we Apple, nigga. We ain't telling you a motherfucking thing. Just take the bread and shut the fuck up. That's what they were saying. And it's cool. Like, you know what I mean? They could say that, right? But ultimately, I made a decision, just like how Pacquiao probably made a decision, but probably with a bunch of business people in the middle. That's how it works.
That's how you came in the game. I just come from something different. That's first and foremost. And I'll wrap it up with that. Lastly, I'll say is this. You guys are doing a great job. I'm not hating on your show or whatever, but I'm doing a spectacular job, nigga. I'm that nigga. That's why you mentioned my name in the first place. And you're doing really good. You're doing good, Chad, and I'm proud of you. But you're not the main attraction on your show. You said you're not the main attraction. You're the coleslaw that comes with the meal.
Okay, this is not an apology then. This is a backhanded compliment.
You relish. You anchovies. Shannon Sharp could do this without you, even though you're a good addition.
You see, now, here's the thing. Usually, and by the way, I've gotten reductive like this. Like, C mics, I'm usually trashing on. B mics are important, right? Like, put it like this. In a lot of times when I was doing Everyday Struggle with Joe, when you got two strong personalities, and it's the same thing with like a Skip and a Stephen A. I'm pretty sure their pre-production was, all right, what topics we doing? Oh, we doing a Tebow topic. All right, I'm going to let you go crazy. Like, basically, I'm going to give you the ball. It's like Kyrie and LeBron. It's your time. Just shoot, nigga. You know what I'm saying? All right, your turn to shoot. All right, my turn to shoot. Feel me? When it came time to talk about younger, all right, here, I'm throwing it up to you. What, you know what I mean? That type of shit. So a B mic, sometimes people get knocked for being a B mic, but 2 A mics, a lot of times those A mics have to be B at times. Not saying that I believe that Ocho is a A mic. However, a B mic is very important for great content. You know what I mean? Great content. Now, the C mics, these are ancillary pieces. I think Nightcap is a different thing for Shannon. Like Shannon's a lead shooter. Like he could do his thing, but he needs that rapport, and I don't think he has it with everybody. And I don't think that could be a solo show. So, with all due respect, I like Shannon, but I don't think Shannon could shoot by himself. I do think he needs a teammate, and I think Ocho is a great teammate. Might not be the star, but you're averaging 30, he averaging 20. If he drops 0 points that episode, shit don't work. So I don't agree with Camron here. I thought it was an apology. It's not really an apology. He's kind of being slick the whole time. All right. All good. Let's move on. We're avoiding all Drake Kendrick topics for now. And unfortunately, we get to hear. Oh, God. Chat. So, y'all remember we